NBC4 News starts with breaking news.
That breaking news tonight, a bus and a car collide and go flying into a seafood restaurant in Long Beach. More than a dozen people injured tonight, and we're getting new surveillance video of the moment of the impact there. NBC4's McCullough Medina joins us live from the scene with that video. Mac?
Plus, Colleen, we just got an update from fire department. 15 people now impacted by this crash. We're told 9 have been transported to local hospitals. 2 had to be extricated from a car that slammed into that bus. Take a look at the bus right now. You can see crews right now working to pull it out of the Bougie Crab restaurant here on South in California. It slammed into that restaurant around 3:15 this afternoon after that car blew through a stop sign here on California, slamming right into the front end of that bus. We have that surveillance video. We just obtained it from neighbors here a short time ago. You can see exactly not only the crash, but how fast that car was going when it went right through the intersection, slamming into that bus. There were a lot of Good Samaritans here in the area that worked very quickly to try to help those inside the bus. We talked to one of them a short time ago. She said there were a lot of older people inside the bus when she went in there to try to pull them out. Here's what else she said.
I have families, so it's kind of like if they were going through the same thing, I want people to help them out. I wouldn't want them to go through it alone and trying to figure it out themselves. So, I mean, like I said, it was older people, so just going to help them out, make sure they're fine. I have kids of my own, making sure there was no kids on the bus.
Yeah, so as you heard, no kids on the bus, but she says a lot of elderly passengers. She says they were bruised and beaten. A lot of them were shaken up. She said the driver had to escape outside of the window of the front of the truck. We also talked to some other witnesses here at the scene who say the driver of the car, they believe a younger driver, perhaps 19, early 20s, he was able to walk outside of the car, but 2 other people in that car had to be extricated, according to fire officials. Their conditions are unknown right now. We're waiting for an update from fire officials here at the scene. Let's take you back live right now, because the work that fire crews are doing right now to remove the bus is a very intricate one, because they're also very worried about the structure of that building. It's not only a restaurant, but you can see on the upper portion of that building, those are apartments, and we're told that at least 2 people in those apartments have been displaced because of this crash. They're going to be out here for quite a while to try to figure out exactly how to remove that safely and how to deal with the situation here. So you can bet that South will be closed off here for a good amount of time, hours after this crash happened at 3:15 this afternoon. That's the latest here in Long Beach. I'm McCullough Medina, NBC4 News.
All right, Mac, thank you for that. We have more breaking news to tell you about the driver in the crash that killed 1 sheriff's cadet and injured several others. That driver has now been charged with manslaughter almost a year after the accident. NBC4's Darsha Phillips live right now in downtown L.A. with late developments on this as well. Darsha?
Yeah, Colleen, as you mentioned, it's been nearly a year since that crash that killed 1 sheriff's recruit and injured several others. And today at a press conference, we learned that that wrong-way driver involved in that crash will be facing manslaughter charges. Now, this is a video of that crash back in November of 2022. A group of sheriff's recruits hit by that wrong-way driver in South Whittier while the cadets were out jogging in formation. 25 recruits were injured, including 27-year-old Alejandro Martinez. Martinez fought for months after sustaining critical injuries from the crash, but in July, Martinez succumbed to his injuries. Now, the wrong-way driver, 23-year-old Nicolas Gutierrez, was initially arrested and booked on suspicion of attempted murder, but then later released. Gutierrez has claimed that the crash was an unfortunate accident, saying he fell asleep at the wheel. Now, at a press conference today, a detective did say that this has been a layered and very complex investigation.
There are multiple causes in a chain of events that led to that. There is a claim of drowsiness that we've been exploring. As everyone said here, this is an exhaustive investigation that began with the possibility that this was an intentional act. And eventually we've discovered that the appropriate charge after reviewing all of this is a felony gross vehicular manslaughter and the other charges that you heard about.
Nicholas Gutierrez's attorney did send NBC4 a statement saying that Gutierrez did surrender himself today and that he continues to cooperate fully with law enforcement. Now, if Gutierrez is found guilty of those charges, he could face up to 12 years in prison. That's the latest from downtown Los Angeles tonight. I'm Darsha Phillips, NBC4 News.
Darsha, thank you. And shortly after the accident last year, I sat down with the suspect, Nicholas Gutierrez, and his family. Here's what he had to say when I asked him about what happened that day. The sheriff says you did this intentionally. Is that true?
No.
Some of the recruits said you didn't brake. What do you remember? Anything at all about this?
I fell asleep at the wheel and I woke up to people banging on the window to get out. I had no words. When I got out, I asked if they were okay, and they pulled me on and took me to the ground.
Nicholas, how often do you think about that day and sort of replay it in your mind?
Since the second happened, it's just, I've been living it like I woke up in a nightmare.
What would you want to say to the families or those recruits that you saw out there that day?
I didn't intentionally do it. I wish it never happened. I feel essentially like, I feel bad it happened.
At the time, the attorney for Gutierrez told me he passed a field sobriety test and his toxicology report came up clean. Gutierrez told me he took a lie detector test and passed when he was initially booked on suspicion of attempted murder. Now, we will continue to follow the breaking developments on this story throughout the night on air and on NBCLA.com, and you can always download our NBCLA app for breaking news alerts. Busy night. More breaking news. The LA County DA also announced charges today in the deaths of an off-duty LAPD officer and his passenger. Officer Daryl Cunningham was hit and killed last Saturday morning in Northridge. Investigators believe Brian Oliveras ran a red light while driving under the influence going 100 miles an hour. He is now facing charges including murder, gross vehicular manslaughter, and DUI. Cunningham's mother spoke out for the first time as those charges were announced.
I just ask that just be a little more patient. Turn on your blinkers. Be respectful. Take that little time away, because I never sleep again. I wake up every morning at 4 a.m. Fours is very special to me because they represent my son. The beginning of his badge number is a 4. The ending of his badge number is a 4. He was born the fourth month, 4th day, 4 a.m., 4 pounds. He died on the 4th. Those are his angel numbers.
Cunningham had been with the LAPD fewer than 5 years. He is survived by his fiancée and 2 young sons. Police are searching for 3 missing members of a family in Tarzana, and their disappearance is believed connected to the body parts found yesterday in a dumpster in Encino. NBC4's Macy Jenkins live right now in Tarzana with more for us on this. Macy?
Hi, Colleen. Well, the scene here on Coldstream Terrace has cleared. Police are no longer here, but the search is still on for those 3 missing members of the Haskell family. That is 37-year-old May Haskell and her 2 parents. Now, her husband, 35-year-old Sam Haskell, was located yesterday at the Topanga Mall, detained and questioned by police, and then arrested on suspicion of murder. His bond is set at $2 million. Now, the NBC4 I-Team first broke this story yesterday. LAPD got a call from a man in Encino early Wednesday morning who was digging through a dumpster looking for recyclables when he found a woman's torso. A license plate picked up by video surveillance led investigators to a home a few miles away in Tarzana, where police say the woman may have been killed. Now, police say Samuel and May Haskell lived in this house with their 3 young children and May's parents, Goshan Lee and Wanji Yang. Inside, detectives say they found blood and other evidence that leads them to believe a crime occurred there. The woman found in Encino has not been identified, but police believe it likely belongs to May or her mother. Investigators say the children were located at school yesterday and are all safe. Neighbors, though, are uneasy, learning 3 of their own are missing and a husband is behind bars.
He was just not friendly. Like most neighbors are friendly. You want to say hi, talk about what you do for a living, et cetera, et cetera. And he was not a difficult person, don't get me wrong, but he just wasn't friendly. I mean, she's a nice lady, and she told us what she did for a living, which I thought was interesting. If you wanted your kids to get a good school, then you hired her to find one.
Now, May's parents' car is missing. That car is typically parked outside of the house. That is a white Volkswagen Tiguan SUV. Police are still looking for that car, but the search for it has expanded quite beyond this neighborhood. That's the latest here in Tarzana. Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News. Colleen?
Macy, thank you. Coming up, a state of emergency planned in Orange County. Poor air quality from a fire at this historic hangar. What you need to know for your health and safety.
And we're looking live outside at downtown Los Angeles on this Thursday. Mostly clear sky. The winds are calm. They are starting to move on out. We've got nice conditions, though, as we head into our weekend. Details are coming up with your First Alert forecast.